The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Oh, that's so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Welcome to the show, folks. It's Nico and Paige. Happy Friday, everybody. It's chilly here in downtown Clearwater, like it's about 45, 46 degrees.
We get a little break from that muggy Christmas.
Got my sweater on.
Yes, I see that.
Yeah. It's unusual. We have to break it out of the closet every now and then. So.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah. Hey, the number here is 877-927-6648. Please take time to pick up my Health Signals newsletter. Paige.
Brand new year, new start to the newsletter. You can start at the beginning.
Yep. And I started this Health Signals newsletter here on page 1, talking about facts about farmed fishing. And
I love that you put that article in as we were talking about that, but incidentally, had dinner last night. I think I mentioned to you my oldest daughter is a phenomenal cook. I mean, she's better than me. Good. Oh, yeah. And so she went and got wild salmon and made a wonderful broccoli rabe, carrot, delicious dinner. And but she made the comment, she goes, Mom, I know you told me I have to always get the wild salmon, but she said it doesn't taste as fatty. And this article, states that it actually, even though it has the higher omega-3s, it tends to not have as fatty of a taste. It's got the richer color.
Well, because it doesn't have all the omega-6s, which takes up the bulk of the fat.
That's right, folks.
So if you see what happens, folks, is the real thing that we want to do is look at the fat content of the fish. And when you're talking about wild fish, then it's got a ratio of about 3 to 1 of omega-6 to omega-3.
Correct.
Some fish might even have it 1 to 1 ratio. Okay, but that range, 1 to 3 to 1 ratio, is a real good range. When you start feeding fish differently, like the soy and the corn that they feed in these factory farms, because that's cheap feed. They're not going to fish. They're not going to feed them what the fish eat because that's expensive stuff.
Exactly.
So what the change is, the change that happens is then all of a sudden now you've got 13 or even 30 to 1 ratio. So you've got a much higher fat content, but it's bad fat.
And, everyone just thinks that they're doing the right thing by, eating fish. But if it's farm-raised fish, folks, you're not getting the right fat ratios that we spend a lot of time. Get the Health Signals newsletter because this article gives you some great tips about what you need to do and what fish might be a good choice for you.
And there's a interview here with Dr. McCullough and Randy Hartnell, and they talk. And
Randy's the head of, I believe, Vital Choice, isn't he?
I think so.
Wonderful company that any of you from around the country can get really good wild Alaskan sockeye salmon shipped directly to your door, and you don't have to wonder whether or not you're buying a farm-raised. Yeah.
Some other articles in here, research that's attacking the multivitamin supplements. I've seen a lot of articles about this. A lot of the research is flawed.
Well, you and I are probably going to go over one of those headlines today that we have in our Instapaper that talks about, again, the truth that much of the mainstream research is, in fact, flawed.
Exactly. So you should keep up with that for sure. Then let's see, go down the line here, and we're talking about an Instagraph that really talks about the health benefits of coffee. I know a lot of you drink the Tiger Brew coffee. Right,
and we see we're talking out there.
I have mine right here.
Yeah, and Jay's having some Tiger Brew. And, one of the points that he made was that, this coffee goes down so smooth, and that's exactly right, folks. Some of the health of the Italian people are that they actually, take that spoonful of olive oil, kind of coats everything, keeps everything slippery and slidey. Well, that's what vitamins A and D that you get in butter are doing to your arteries.
Yeah, very good point.
Anyways, I think this is great. Let's, just a couple things. I thought this was really, some of the quantity of coffee that they're talking about here is really much more than most of us probably drink. But I think some of the action that we're seeing is as you know, coffee is a rich source of antioxidants, and sadly many people in the South American diet, it's one of the main places that they get their antioxidants.
Yes.
You know,
So the higher quality of coffee, naturally, the more you're going to get these good antioxidants, and you should really pick out, some purveyors that it's going to be natural, it's going to be organic, and they've chosen the best beans, and they haven't over-roasted them and gotten all the toxins and stuff that,
I like this one where it zooms, if you can see there on the liver cirrhosis, drinking just 2 cups a day can lower the risk of liver cirrhosis by 80%. Now, that's pretty powerful when you stop and think about it. It's not that hard to drink 2 cups a day, and so helping to keep the liver, not from being so fatty.
Okay, and then we have a crucial difference between pickled and fermented, which we discussed the other day. And a lot of these seasonings that are in the stores that are prepackaged seasonings really aren't that great for you. So I put a little article in here about that and how to make your own healthy mixes. Very easy to do. And I know you have sources for that yourself.
We do, and who knows, we might just get creative here on Primal Living. But I'm going to tell you something. Remember, the other thing I want you to be aware of when you're looking at spices.
What?
So many of the stores and distributors actually irradiate the spices, which kills the life force. And if you've been listening to us, we're talking about life force and light in our food and everything that we do.
Yeah.
So, try and make sure you're getting your spices from companies that agree not to irradiate. And I think one is Frontier, I think, is actually a company that you can see in your grocery store that maybe even says on the label that they don't irradiate. But take a look for that.
And, one of the chat room people were asking about, these are all good points, but what about the Fukushima that's going on?
No.
I was going to bring this up a little later in the show, but we might as well go right into it. There's a lot of things happening in Fukushima, and you really don't see it on the mainstream news. And there's, I think a few days ago, one of the reactors, I think number 3, is actually emitting steam. And this is coming right from the reactor itself, so you've got to be thinking that there's a lot of problems in there. It's going to be very difficult to know what the impacts are of this. You get all kinds of stories that it's already too late, and we're going to be dead in 10 years. Who knows? We don't know actually what's going on yet. I don't think completely, but I've read a lot of reports, and it's very, very disturbing.
It's very disturbing.
But, there's a lot of things that are going on in the world today that seem, the weather is another thing. Okay, so I've been listening to the Suspicious Observers.
You got me onto that site too.
And I was listening to one of his conversations that just took place a couple of days ago. He was talking to a couple of other scientists, and they're going to have this big convention coming up soon. And, so let's talk about predictions and what's going to happen. And they really have a mindset now that they think maybe we're starting into this real low peak of sun activity, which is called the minimum, but we're supposed to be in the maximum right now. And these are 11-year cycles that we go through, and it's been going on 11 years. We go through
didn't
this
the sun
low
just switch on its axis?
Well, it does that every 11 years or 22 years, depending on the theory behind it. But, the electric universe people who are the ones that I'm listening to is of a different mindset than most of the scientists in the world think that everything is run by a sun that is a nuclear reactor, whereas that the electric universe thinks it's electrical. And all the things that go on with predictions about earthquakes and how the sun is affecting all this is coming kind of true on the electrical universe side, but on the other side, none of these things work, and they keep walking into these brick walls, saying, "Well, this doesn't seem right, not according to our theory, so let's rework our theory." But the electric universe has predicted comets, it's predicted weather, predicted earthquakes in a lot better fashion than it has been in the mainstream. So, very interesting to me. What they're talking about now is that we're entering probably an ice age. Kind of a mini ice age that we had about 400 years ago, and these go on about every 400 years, and they last about 50 to 70 years. So we could be in, and they think we're into the 3rd year. When you start looking at the weather, of course, out there right now, you're thinking, boy, Europe's getting nailed, we're getting nailed in the north. And there may be something to this, but I found it interesting that they put it all on the table as I was listening last night, and they said, boy, I think we're really into this now, and the proof will be in the pudding over the next 5 or 6 years, but it might be that fast that we're no longer talking about global warming. We might be talking about, hey, how do we stop from freezing our butts off?
Exactly, and this is, you know, one of the things. We're sitting here, you're explaining all of this to us, and anyone who's watching any ABC or mainstream news station is actually hearing about global warming and this kind of a thing. So it's just this polar opposite, you know.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with the Fukushima. We don't really hear on a daily basis anything about what's going on out there, but from other sources you see videos, and these are little scientists. I mean, that's what's great about the internet. I mean, we have a lot of smart people out there that are doing their own independent little thing because they're not getting anywhere with the mainstream. And a lot of these people are coming up with some of these great ideas and valuable information.
Exactly. I think you're right. I think you're right. And I think that's the whole key, is to really look at the source of information that's out there for all of us.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, where were we on this newsletter?
So we were just kind of finishing that up about Fukushima. Guys, you know, let's get back to one of the things you will learn is that whether or not you want to believe the mainstream reports about what's going on over at Fukushima, or you want to, you know, believe what you might hear in some of the alternative media, the one thing is true. If it is true, you know, we need to protect our thyroid gland from the bad form of iodine that gets into the atmosphere and some of the other chemicals. And, you know, one of the ways we can do that is by using active forms of iodine. So, you know, we want to talk to you maybe next week or something if you all want to get
we're going to be keeping an eye on this.
Yes, and we're going to talk about it a lot more.
We can do about it, because if this is actually going on, we're going to need some kind of help with this, something that is inexpensive.
Something that's easy for everyone to do and can help with your whole body health. That's what we wanted to do for you all.
Okay, interesting article that I came across is you are what your father eats. And of course, this is, you know, when we talk about diet, we're really talking about a lifestyle that, you know, goes on and on. So what your parents ate determines how healthy you are. And of course, today in this world, as you're growing up, if you're a fast food junkie and now you start having children, what is the real effect going to be for them 30 or 40 or 50, 60 years down the line?
And this article really touches on cellular memory and the epigenetic influence of the passing on. And I thought it was really interesting because folate, which is, and guys, I didn't say folic acid, I said folate, the active form of the vitamin B9, and how important it is. We know that it affects mothers and the you know, birth defect, you know, incident for mothers and their babies, but now we're seeing that it's really implicated with fathers of babies as well. So we're looking at the methylation of the cells. This is cutting edge information. It's all there if you get the newsletter.
Yep. And we have some things about marijuana, how they're working to treat arthritis pain. And then we're also going to look at the surprising effects of probiotics outside of the intestinal tract. You know, so real interesting things in here. I've got some great recipes in here too, folks. Some beef Wellington, and how to grow your own herbs, and some exercise
Good stuff, people.
So that's it. Give us a call, folks, 877-927-6648. Paige and I'll be right back.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
Who says you can't take it with you? TFNN says you can. With your mobile device and TFNN's live radio streams, TFNN has put it all in the palm of your hands. No special apps to download. No subscription fees for live radio or Tiger TV streams. We say you can.
Now let's go over to the dollar, because the dollar is going to be the generator. It is the generator of basically higher dollar, lower market. And what the dollar has done, and this whole uptrend, folks, has just gone sideways. The way it works, folks, is this.
We say you can. The Tiger Financial News Network. Smart investors and professional traders know you can. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. And we've got a lot of questions in the chat room, you know, kind of what we're talking about. You got to get the newsletter, folks, so you can be in on this conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Good information about the dangers of farm-raised fish. And, you know, a lot of people brought up the question, you know, not just about farm-raised fish, but, you know, in light of what we're talking about the Fukushima accident, in light of what we're talking about the Gulf oil spill, how safe is eating seafood?
Well, you know, we had Nora on the show a couple of months back, and she said she won't eat any fish from the northern hemisphere at all, even the Atlantic or the Pacific. The Atlantic because of the oil spill, and the Pacific because of Fukushima. I'm wondering, because of all those currents that go around the world, whether actually any of it is, you know, safe, and how diluted this stuff gets. I don't know. You know, I don't have the answer to these. There's a lot of good information.
Yeah, Danny, thanks for the link there. Gunderson, definitely one of the foremost authorities, in my opinion, credible resource on what's going on in Fukushima. You can see a lot of stuff. Dr. Mark Circus, as you guys know, SIRCUS, has contacts with Gunderson a lot. I find him also to be a
there's an article here
that
is called 36 Signs the Media is Lying to You About How Radiation from Fukushima is Affecting the West Coast. It's by Michael Snyder. You can Google that and get that information. That's a good starting point. That opens up a lot of questions about it. So there's a lot of material out there. I would just recommend going and finding it. And see, you know, some of it will pop up in my newsletter too.
Like you guys know, we all like to go down that rabbit hole and find that information. Just to make sure we addressed some of your questions. So based on that fact, if you knew me 2-3 years ago, 4 years ago, you would find that my recommendations for seafood in general has decreased. I eat a lot more wild salmon and everything. Because of this, I'm kind of cautious. I've also told you that I am fearful of a lot of the processing of fish oils, and I find that some of them are probably have had synthetic vitamin A and D added, and we get into a lot of issues with that. But if I am going to have a salmon, it's going to be a northern Alaskan Canada, and that article was very interesting. But just keep an eye on this, folks, because this is important to your health. And remember that a great source of omega-3s is your grass-fed beef.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So, and maybe we're going to start looking at grass-fed beef from Argentina because it's in the southern hemisphere.
Maybe so. I don't know. I don't know what the how the effects will be felt from even rain falling. I saw a website where a guy had Geiger counters up at 8,400 feet in Denver area.
Oh yeah.
Just outside of Denver, and he was giving a weekly log on the difference, and you can see that as the snow falls, the Geiger counter starts wailing away, and it's obviously there's something in the atmosphere in the snow that's causing this. So it's.
And the other thing
scary.
is working with a natural health practitioner like myself or Nico in terms of exercising and helping to optimize the body's ability to detoxify.
Yes, that helps a lot.
Not a lot of sea vegetables. Again, we go back to the sea vegetables, but they've always been known to help with detoxifying radiation. I have a homeopathic formula that, you use it a little bit to start, and then you, kind of like my flu protocol, you use it once or twice a week to help your body get rid of the radiation. So.
Yeah. Now, we haven't heard anything about the flu protocol. That everybody that I've given some to
has had good results.
Had good results.
Yeah.
So
here we all are. None of us got the flu.
That's right. So that speaks volumes what's going on here.
Yeah. So we got to help ourselves and help our bodies.
Yeah. Now you sent me a real interesting article about 7 scientific reasons you should listen to your heart and not your brain, and this is really about the actual intelligence of the heart itself, isn't it?
It is.
It's a smart organ.
It is a smart organ. And, this article was so fascinating to me after having recently seen an interview with the founder of Heart Math and Heart Coherence. And in this particular interview, there actually was a study. They showed someone sitting there, and they flashed images. And if they had the heart hooked up and they had the brain, and it showed that the heart responded to an image even before it was on the screen versus the brain, 2 to 3 seconds or whatever the measurement was faster, letting us know that it's really the brain the heart that's ahead of the brain. I think of the brain, I like to put things down into more of just a simplistic way of looking at it, but I think our brain really is more of a traffic cop and a switchboard.
Who knows? I mean,
I think
the whole
heart
human spirit is your whole body and the surrounding light that it emits, and so I mean, there's a lot to it, and it's just cool that we can get research like this, that you do see there's a response from not just the brain, but there's a response from the heart.
Yeah, let's share some little stats on that when we come back.
Sounds good.
Short segment.
877-927-6648 is the phone number. Please pick up my Health Signals newsletter, and Paige and I will be right back with Living a Primal Lifestyle.
With over 3 decades of trading experience, Andy Hecht brings a tremendous amount of knowledge and expertise to each weekly issue of his newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report. The Technomental Commodity Report gives you Andy's unique technomental analysis of the commodities market, a combination of technicals and fundamental analysis which he has developed and perfected over his many years of trading. The Technomental Commodity Report is only $49 a month, and right now you can get a full month-long trial subscription while paying absolutely nothing. See for yourself the kind of weekly report Andy delivers to his subscribers every Thursday morning. You'll receive specific stock, ETF, and option trades based on Andy's analysis, so no futures account is required. For all the details and to start your month-long free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, visit TFNN.com today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
2014 has arrived, and Tom O'Brien has put together a special webinar for his subscribers to his daily newsletter, Market Insights. That will be taking place the evening of Tuesday, January 7th from 6:30 till 7:30 p.m. All you have to do to attend this live event, which will be archived, is to be a subscriber to Tom's daily trading newsletter on the day of the webinar. Tom will be breaking down the 3 most important sectors that will shape the markets in 2014, the S&P, bonds, and real estate. Tom will provide his subscribers with a technical and fundamental take on these 3 sectors and how they can shape the entire market outlook for the upcoming year. For a limited time, we're extending a free trial to Tom's daily newsletter to a full 30 days. And even if you had the free trial previously, you're welcome to sign up and take advantage of this special offer, only good till January the 7th. Don't let another year pass you by. Sign up for your 30-day trial to Market Insights today and gain access to this exciting live webinar with Tom O'Brien. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today. This segment is brought to you by BackTech Environmental. For more information, just click the BackTech banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Nico and Paige here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. Hey, the number here is 877-927-6648. Please give us a buzz if you have any questions or comments.
We're talking about why we should listen to our hearts, and maybe those little cliche statements we hear are not too far off. You know, one key point is they've referred to the heart as the little brain. Mm-hmm. And the heart actually has 40,000 sensory neurons that it sends to the brain to make, people really think that the brain is controlling everything.
In fact, the heart has hormones that it gives off.
Neurohormones, correct. And that has a lot to do with why they saw that the response, that people could see a picture of a lovely child, a beautiful little child, and the heart would react with feelings of love. And even before a picture of, say, an atrocious, killing or something, the heart would already respond with what you would expect to be that reaction, as if it's almost like a telepathy.
It's pretty amazing.
It says that the heart emits more electrical activity than the brain. I think a lot of people might find that kind of surprising.
It's an electric universe. That's what I'm talking about.
Electricity and magnetism.
And we're electric beings. We respond to magnetism. We respond to sound. Mm-hmm. We respond to atmospheric conditions. differences in pressure. So there's a lot of things going on, and so does our food. Our food responds to all those things also.
Exactly.
And the closer we get to the source of the food, and the more alive the food was, those responses enter us, and that's really what I believe. So I believe that getting into a primal type of mind, where the things are much simpler, that your body can respond much, much better to all the different things that happens during your life and your daily life.
First things first, primal things. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. The activity in one person's heart can be measured in the brain waves of another person. So you know that feeling when you just are in someone's space and you can feel it. It's just powerful things that we're finding out. I really recommend if you go and want to do a little more understanding about the coherent field of the heart, you can go visit heartmath.com.
Oh, really?
Heartmath.com. You know, if I had time to go take another class, which I'm probably going to do because that's what I love
that's
to do.
What you do.
I mean, I would go out there in a heartbeat. I love what they're doing at heartmath.com. But the electrical activity of the heart and the brain can be guided into a synchronous electrical rhythm, easily measured and displayed by simply focusing on positive and loving emotions emanating from the heart.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, good stuff. So keep that in mind, folks. You know, we got to listen to our hearts.
Now, another article I found very interesting was the drinking of warm water with salt.
Well, when I sent you that, I really, there was a little bit of a personal thing because I'm always trying to express to people that we need to add the healthy pink salt, the healthy sea salt, air-dried salt. I mean, there are some sea salts that you can buy in your store. Alessi's is one that actually tests good, and you know, I'm always into testing things. I have one, it's called pink salt, that we Premier Research.
The reason I found this really warm to my heart, in a sense, is because when I think of warm water and salt, I think of electricity.
It is
and we're talking about being electric beings, the universe being electric, the sun being electric, and all these things kind of tie in together. So, you know, when I saw this pass across in an email from you, I goes, this is really cool. And this article is really cool, but because a lot of times we talk about hydration, but we don't talk about the reasons of why we would be drinking this instead of just.
And do we hold on to our hydration?
Yeah.
A lot of people will start drinking water because they think that's the healthy thing to do, and instead they're just making frequent trips to the bathroom, and they're not holding on to the water. And if any of you all have heard our talks, and what I've learned from Dr. Marshall is that we need healthy salt to help our adrenals and our, and all of our filtering organs work well.
Yeah. Well, when we talk about electrolytes, this is kind of a natural electrolyte that doesn't have the chemicals in it like you would have in Gatorade, which is a novel idea, but not a very good product, I would say.
No, it's a processed food. And you can make your own electrolyte drinks with healthy pink salt, the juice of a lemon, maybe even some small
you don't
berries,
need a lot of
ginger.
salt. I mean, when we talk about a pinch, it is just a pinch.
You just need a pinch. I mean, if you're a heavy athlete, we may. I'll tell you a real good tip to figure out if you're getting enough salt. Because remember, we are 80% water, okay? And the other part of us is 20% minerals. And I was listening to Dr. Len Horowitz talk about that. And when he said it, that's when I saw this article. And I thought, if everyone would just understand, it makes total sense. A lot of people make faces at me when I tell them to have salt to their water. I find that if you take your water and you succuss it, which you're really actually turning it into a homeopathic remedy. You know what I mean when I say succuss? That's the vigorous shaking 100 times. 100, give you a 6x, 3x
Okay, breaks up the
salt. And just remember that you're creating something that's actually giving you the minerals and the electrolytes that are, in fact, what you are. So simple.
Yeah. It mentions detoxification.
Exactly.
Part of it.
One of the things, too, when we start taking iodine and we start replacing the bad halogens that are taking place in your receptors, we're trying to get rid of the bromine, we're trying to get rid of the chlorine, we're trying to get rid of the fluoride. We often really increase someone's vitamin C and their healthy salt so that they can help with their detoxification. It helps with digestion. I mean, let's think about it. What is stomach acid? It's hydrochloric acid, HCl. So you need salt, healthy salt, sodium chloride, and where your body cleaves the chloride to make the hydrochloric acid so you can digest your food, you have digestive fire, you break down your proteins.
It's all
connected.
Yeah. And it talks about being really good for your skin because of the minerals and the vitamins in it. It improves your energy flow, reduces your blood sugars. It helps with cramps if you're doing a lot of exercise. And it actually makes your skin and all your veins and everything work better. And then, of course,
it does, and it's
you're going to normalize your body.
It stresses me out when I hear people being so afraid of salt, you know, especially.
Well, we've kind of done the same thing to salt as we did with fat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so.
Demonize it. But remember, folks, we're not talking about, you know, the little Morton girl with the umbrella. We're not talking about, you know, salt that's heated to 1,600 degrees and turned into a toxic chemical. We're talking about natural occurring sea salts, air-dried, mineral-rich, you know, 60, 80 some minerals, depending on the ones you have.
And at the end of the article here, they have how to make it and how to take it.
So actually, that's a recipe, guys, for Soleil water, which is actually making your own concentrated seawater. Okay. And that's an easy way to do it, but guys, it doesn't even have to get that complicated. I mean, this is a great way to do it.
This is fill a quart size. No, is this in the newsletter?
Well, maybe we'll pop it in there next.
Pop up.
Yeah, I think it'll be great.
How to make it and how to take it. Fill a quart-size mason jar, a third full, with unrefined natural salt. You fill the jar with filtered water, leaving 2 inches at the top. You cover a solution with plastic, not metal, storage cap, and you shake it. Let it sit for about 24 hours. Check in 24 hours to see if all the crystals have been dissolved. And you add a little more salt, blah, blah, blah. You store it in the cupboard, and it has very many properties of being antibacterial, antifungal. Fungal.
We use salts to, you know, cure meats and so forth. Salt is very antiseptic. Salt breathing, salt room breathing. My sister works with a practitioner in Tennessee who has a salt spa, which I would love to have too. They spray the walls with salt, and people go in there that have breathing issues. So, but what the recipe for Soleil that we'll pop in the newsletter for those of you who subscribe next time is a great way to make a master formula. But if you buy a good healthy salt, you can do the same thing by just adding a teaspoon per your drinking water. Yeah. And you get to a point where you don't really notice it.
Yeah, you know, when I first started, I did notice it quite a bit, and it just felt like my mouth wasn't quite as quenched. This, you know, it would be almost a little bit thirsty, and I found that if I drank a little bit more, then that would go away. So I was kind of afraid to drink too much of it, I thought, in the beginning.
Yeah, I think people have a misconception, too, that they think that they're going to end up swelling up because they're drinking salt. It is the complete opposite. You will lose your swelling. You'll lose the excess fluids. You will hold on to the minerals. And, you know, one of the main things we do when we see people who are not holding their healthy pH in their body and they want to get more to an alkaline pH, we say pink salt because of the high mineral content. Yeah. And they're able to hold on to that because otherwise the body's going to pull calcium out of where? The bones.
Bones, yeah.
So the body is going to alkalize the blood, and it's going to use its minerals, and it's going to really, you know, stop that. We got a caller.
We do?
Yep, we got a caller.
Okay. Who's on the line here? Let's see. We have Kay Richo from Costa Rica.
How are you doing? We haven't talked to you in a while.
Hi, guys. I'm doing fine. How are you all?
Happy New Year.
New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Healthy New Year, too.
Yeah, for sure. What's going on?
I have to tell you, about a month ago, I'm not sure the date, I caught one of the archive shows when you had a gentleman on who was talking about adrenaline. And just to refresh the conversation you had with him, just mentally remembering, I'm speaking Spanish and English at the same time, I'm sorry. But remembering what he talked about, basically he said that the body needs 5 hours of sleep to, I think he used the phrase, recharge the adrenaline in the body.
Okay.
That's correct.
Is that something sounds familiar?
Yes, that is. And that's very much, you've heard me talk about the fact that I'm a practitioner of a certain type of nutritional testing that's called quantum reflex analysis. And from what Dr. Marshall has found out through quantum reflex is that our bodies need a straight 5 hours of sleep in order to pump the proper amount of adrenaline to help us hold on to our minerals, to have our adrenals be strong, and when our adrenals are strong, then our hormones are going to be more in balance. So the idea, what we do with people who tell us that they're having a hard time sleeping or urinating and stuff, well, we have lots of little things that we do. We use some different supplements that help with nighttime urination, like certain pollens. But we will encourage people, if you wake, let's say you go to bed at 10 and you wake at 2, we will really encourage you not to lift your head off the pillow. You know, rotate, don't get up until you know that you have been sleeping for 5 straight hours, so that you can make sure that you produce the proper amount of adrenaline. Because adrenaline is important at the right circadian time. And then many times when we do this, normal sleep patterns will eventually come about.
But I recall him saying, if you can't sleep, or I recall in the conversation somewhat, if you can't really sleep like a normal sleep of REMs and whatnot, but you stay on your back, you stay on your stomach, but you stay flat, that will help in the recharging of the adrenaline in some sort of fashion.
Well, it doesn't disrupt the body as much. It was the point I think Tom was making in that when he called. And so what he was saying is that getting up to go to the bathroom disrupted the whole equilibrium, so it's best to maybe put a pot beside the bed or something like that, so you don't have to actually get up, you know, and that was what he was talking about at the time.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, please.
No, you go ahead. So how does this, what's going on with you? Are you having some sleep issues?
No, I'll be straight. In 1973, I was living in Acapulco, Mexico, and I met a new friend for life that had just come back from Vietnam, and he was pretty much a basket mental case.
Okay.
He and I just, two guys clicking, you know, two Americans in a foreign country dealing with our own demons and work and odds and ends.
Sure.
But one of the things, and Nico, I mean, this is a man thing. He taught me. He was a professional killer. You come out of Vietnam, you're a nut. You're a mess. You're just, I'm sorry, but that's what the read of that I perceived from him that he was in. He was a mess.
Yeah.
In any case, we used to go up into the mountains for our own mental, spiritual helping hand. And at the same time, he wanted to teach me some of the fighting combat things that he learned. And one of the things was he taught me how to use my adrenaline in a hand-to-hand combat fight like you do in your matches.
Right.
But in real life, he taught me how to use that adrenaline, but in such a way, slow my brain down and capture the adrenaline at the same time, but to see the enemy's eyes and body movement, and then at the same time capture your adrenaline and then surge and go for the kill.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we do in Jiu-Jitsu too. It's really about conserving yourself and remaining calm and not being aggressive, yet being very fast and sure of yourself where you're going and what you're doing.
Right. Strike at the right moment where you see the open.
Yeah, yeah. And that's, in fact, what my jiu-jitsu professor was talking about the other day. It was, you know, that now that we're training for the Pan Ams, we need that killer instinct, but you have to, at the same time, be much calmer than you were before. So you're very calm, so you see the openings, and you can actually feel what's going on.
So what I'm hearing from what you guys are saying is the adrenaline is very important for
no doubt about
having, and this is what happens. People aren't getting a good flow of adrenaline.
Yeah, we're not hunters anymore. That's why. Yeah. Okay, Rico, thanks a lot for calling. Very good stuff.
Okay, thank you. Great.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Folks, we'll be back in a few minutes. The number here is 877-927-6648, and please pick up that Health Signals newsletter. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Have you subscribed to the Gold Report yet? On Wednesday, August 14th and Thursday, August 15th, Tom O'Brien advised his Gold Report subscribers to close out 6 of their 9 open positions, all winning trades ranging from a 10.69% profit to an incredible 48% profit in just one equity. Tom O'Brien brings an incredible wealth of knowledge and experience to the gold market and the equities within the industry. That's almost 12 years since this powerful newsletter first began. And right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the Gold Report by visiting TFNN.com. Make sure you're a subscriber as this volatile gold market makes its way back into positive territory after declining all the way from $1,900 to under $1,200 an ounce in only 2 years. Get your 30-day free trial today by visiting TFNN.com.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different futures contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now you can receive a 2-week free trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pezzamento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back, folks. This is Nico from Living a Primal Lifestyle here with my friend
We got all kinds of good stuff going on.
Yeah.
These new lights, you guys bear with
yeah.
us. We're trying to get used to this.
Yeah, we got different cameras,
fancy around
and
here.
it's a lot of fun, actually.
It is.
You know,
And Al does such a good job. Thank
I
you,
ran
Al.
across this article that it's no longer possible to believe a lot of the clinical research that's being published.
No longer possible to believe much of clinical research published.
And this is from an author from the Harvard Medical School, Dr. Marcia Engel.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think we've known for quite a long time, Paige, that, you know, of course, the companies that are doing the testing are the same companies that are making the drugs.
Well, I think that's the key point here. And guys, understand that Marcia Engel is the former editor-in-chief of the heralded New England Journal of Medicine. So if that tells you, and really what she's done, like so many people, we're having disclosure. This is the age of disclosure. The truth is coming out. The truth is going to set us free. And she is just one of these high-profile individuals who simply states, and can I just kind of quote this, "It is simply no longer possible to believe much of the clinical research that is published or to rely on the judgment of trusted physicians or authoritative medical guidelines. I take no pleasure in this conclusion, which I reached slowly and reluctantly over my 2 decades as the editor of the New England Journal of Medicine."
Yeah. And this is not to talk bad about doctors, because they're getting their information from the same sources. From
exactly. They are so busy with their practices that they're relying on the recently graduated college student that then goes to join the pharmaceutical industry sales
force. If you really look at what's happened to doctors in the last 50 years, you know, where they made a really nice living being, you know, working normally, and even working very hard in those days too. But now they have to work twice as hard for half as much money.
Yeah.
And where the doctors now are making more money is, you know, buying the clinics and the land and things like that. But
becoming a real estate investor with the practice and everything. Yeah, true.
They're going to have to do those things. So, I mean, they're under the gun just like we are, and most jobs are, is where they're taking your valuable time that you normally would need to make good judgments, and they're putting you in a filing cabinet and saying, this is the way you do things, and this is the only way to do it, and restricting to what doctors can do. And this is, you know, the research kind of proves that.
And you know, even more, I was watching a really kind of a great video documentary, which I do often, and, you know, we were not just talking about the research that is flawed, you know, and skewed based on padded wallets to make sure that the research comes out such that a certain drug can be released and people, they can profit from it. But how much of the research is never released that is actually positive for people, because it does interfere with a profit train, a gravy train.
Yeah.
You know,
the money is first.
Look at the research from Dr. Gerson, the Gerson therapy. I mean, Dr. Gerson, you know, cured, and I use the C word, cured thousands of people of life-threatening cancers, even when people were already in a, you know, they've been sent home to die as doctors could do. They'd already given enough of their traditional treatments. So there's all kinds of research, people, that we also don't hear, that actually is true research. So we've got to get good at vetting it out. We've got to really read things and ask ourselves, you know, what is the truth?
Well, you know, it's, I heard somebody on TV say, it was a Democrat who was saying, you know, talking about the Obamacare, that actually it's not government care, because the government has very little to do. Yeah, they're setting it up and everything like that, but it's the insurance companies, the drug companies, and they're the ones who set up this whole system. They're really actually in the driver's seat on this whole thing. It's too bad, because I think a better system would be maybe to have the government actually not run the medical part of it, but actually distribute the funds. That's all that we need them for.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need them for anything else. And that's the way I feel about medical care. I think it should be available to everybody. It should be,
well, you know, in Europe they have that model, and some, you know.
Well, everybody has a different model. I don't like much of the models there.
Yeah.
But, the model I do like is the Living a Primal Lifestyle model.
I like that model too.
Yep. And that's the end of our show today, folks. So stick around. We'll be back next week. Have a great one.
Have a good one.
And a safe one.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.